Good evening, beautiful ladies, wonderful gentlemen. Good evening. It's beautifully warm today. Well, you've seen it. First time in history in which you have a president, American president, being indicted. To me, this is one of the most scariest and worst things because we're using the R word, the word racist. When you have a president using the word racist and racism, you got exclusive. This to me is kind of like horrible because when I look at it, I'm like, okay, why is it that you can bring charges onto this dude, but you couldn't bring charges onto, or it wasn't that easy to indict? Because I mean, indict is indicted, arrested is, and locked up is locked up. So we got the different stages. But when you're looking at all these cop killers, all these killer cops, all these cops that be out there just murdering and slaughtering us, and it's no indictment. It takes a long time. You can barely get an indictment. Well, folks, you got the president using the R word, and to me, in this day and age, like I say, we're heading towards a civil war, and we also heading towards World War III. And I'm telling you, folks, if we don't have our stuff together, we're going to suffer and starve. There'll be a few of us that will be able to survive, but then you will be conforming. As the topic say, is Umar Johnson the only man above the law? And I'm trying to figure this one out, folks. This is kind of weird. Is Umar Johnson above the law? And what makes you be above the law? Do you have to be pushing certain things right now? I wonder if you must be pushing a racist agenda like racism, hate. If you have hate speech, do you get a pass because the overall agenda is for a civil war? I'm interested in where this is all going, folks. Is it just about Stormy? He got 34 counts. And when your lawyer comes out and quote, this is his quote. They said, so where do you go from here? And the lawyer said, well, I'm going home and I'm going to get me something to eat. What you mean where we go from here? With such confidence, I mean, is that because they is rubbing off from Trump? Did Trump confidence rub off on his lawyers where they feel so confident that this case is blatantly about racism? I just got a notification, and what did it say? What did it say? Police officer shoots his sergeant in self-defense. Okay, I just got this. It just popped up. Police officer shoots his sergeant in self-defense. Let's see how that goes. Let's see how long the indictment takes for that. Is Umar Johnson above the law? Is he the only man above the law? Because I cannot get this man to get into court. We can get the orange head man to court. We can follow him from the Trump Towers all the way to Florida. They followed that man all the way to Florida. That was beyond O.J. Simpson. That was like kind of weird for them to be given such telescope, radar, satellite detail of this man's, like he went to the bathroom, he took a number 2, he took a number 3, he threw up, his nerves. I mean, like, yo, they're going so hard. And I'm trying to figure this out, folks, because it's bigger and it's deeper than your emotions. It's Umar Johnson. Like, I keep saying this because it's with Umar Johnson and going to court. It's bigger and deeper than a lot of you folks' emotions. The agenda for Donald Trump to shut him down so that this election cannot take place is because there's a bigger agenda that's above a lot of people's heads. And as long as people caught up in the emotions, you don't see the big agenda. With Umar Johnson in the Don M case, you guys just saw or think you see that, oh, Umar's just getting over on this guy. Oh, this guy was down and out, and so Umar just got over him. No, it was way bigger than that. Umar was being saved, and at the same time, Umar was messing up. And while he was messing up, he had someone on the inside, like a lawyer. He had someone on the inside that was cleaning up his mess up, making sure that everything was cool. But at the same time, by doing that, he was committing a crime. We was committing a crime, pretty much. It's deeper. But is Umar Johnson above this law? Because, like I say, I mean, a lot of people, you sit back and like, I wonder why it's taking so long. It's taking so long because on the inside, there's some goofy shit going on. I don't know. I can't pinpoint it, but I did pinpoint it to a judge. I did pinpoint it to a judge. And so the way I'm looking at it, as long as you have an agenda for people to follow, or as long as you are pushing an agenda that the people want to be pushed, you get passes. What agenda is Trump pushing that he cannot get a pass right now? And that's what you got to focus on, folks. As long as you are pushing agendas that they need for them to implement what they need to be implemented, you get passes. So hate speech, honestly, you're getting passes right now. Quiet as kept. It might not. You might be like, "What are you talking about?" No, you get certain attention, or should I say, you get a high level of attention. They might cancel you. They might code up your account. They might do all that shit, but they know that you're gonna go back and talk about it, which is going to keep blowing it up. They try to silence people, but at the same time, they know that by silencing you is only going to expand you at the same time. And the only reason why they try silence is only because people complain, not because it's something from the inside. Because on the inside, it's an agenda that they want. They like for the internet waves with social media to be having debate, confrontation. They love that. Do you want to know why they love that? Because it keeps you sidelined from their overall package deal. They got a package deal for you. Do you know what their package deal is for you? The return to slavery for all people. So as long as you are not organizing, as long as you are getting caught up in the conscious community and the woke, and see, I mean, I've been living all this time and never was I hearing the woke community. I mean, last 20 years, was you hearing, oh, this the woke community? Was you hearing them on TV and media talk about the people woke? Was you hearing about in politicians, oh, the people are woke? Like I say, it's a bigger agenda. You have to listen to the dialogue. And as long as you have people out there that's pushing this a big agenda for the overall to happen, they need hate. They need disorganization. They need discombobulation. They need frustration. They need anger for their agenda to be pushed. Because for their agenda to be pushed, they need a certain level of frustration so they can push their martial law. So they need a Umar Johnson. They needed that Black Lives Matter. because now you have a president screaming racist and racism towards black people. And see, you guys are sitting back and not seeing that we are being used. Letitia James being used. Braggs being used. And the sad thing about it is that they are also not being used, but they are also misleading because they're thinking that they're doing the justice by jumping in and saying, we're going to lock him up for the people. A person who's woke is saying, hey, who's the bad and who's the good person? Who's the bad and who's the good person? Now that's what we talk about. With Umar Johnson, a lot of people get caught up with his words, get caught up with him being an educator or so-called educator. So far, me listening to him, I haven't gotten educated by him. I just, got reinforced from things I already heard and learned, or things that went in one ear and out the other. Umar has not showed people how to start this or open this or make this happen. He said, hey, I'm gonna help you keep your babies from getting indoctrinated into the system, giving drugs. But that's because you was the person that was signing the papers to have them put on shit. So And now you just say, yo, I'm gonna be a whistleblower. See, we are in a world of everyone think they're Snowden. Everyone wants to be a Snowden now. Whenever you get a chance, hey, I'm gonna be the whistleblower. For example, I'm gonna make a long, big, gigantic curveball. I don't know who the black guy was who with that pearly thing chick, but he's a person, and she came to him about I'm gonna give you the percentage of this and this and so he wanted to be a whistleblower, like, yo, she ain't giving me enough bread. So I'm gonna tell it all. Everyone wants to be a whistleblower, and that was one thing about me of that whole FDMG situation. That wasn't my nature. That's why you got an information man talking about, well, if you're not gonna be here to be able to answer the hard questions, I'm like, answer what hard questions? I have a situation I'm going through. What question do you have to ask me outside my situation? And that's what, so many people is so caught up with the wrong side of the coin. And it's like, stay on the topic, and the topic itself is key. But a lot of people, they want just goofy intel for content. And then the real should it become like a cloud of dust, and it just fades away, but yet it's still in the atmosphere because it's still particles. You just can't see it. Is Umar Johnson the only person that you that don't have to go to court? And I really believe, it's either, they waiting for the right time, or they just allow him to push an agenda. And at the very end, they're going to be screaming the same thing. they looking for a major setup, with Umar Johnson. They allow him to open up the school. And then when he really started making an impact, they're going to hit him with the R word, racist. He's promoting racism. Like I say, folks, if we're not looking at the bigger picture, we're going to get caught at the very end. And we're going to look really, really silly in 2020s, being called racist and all this other stuff, while we still trying to stay integrated in a system that don't need you no more. The only thing they need you as is the consumers that you always been. They don't need your intellect until they need it. You understand? Or should I say they don't want your intellect until they need it. That's where we're at right now. And so they need these agendas to be pushed. So they need Umar Johnson's on the street. They need him going around the country promoting the level of hate to have you folks really hateful, so that when it comes down to it, well, hey folks, you don't need you divorce the system. You don't need this. You don't need that. You don't need us. And we did all that, and we don't have nothing as a unit. As long as you have people out there separating you without uniting you and organizing you, they just sent you to the lion's den. And that's what they need. They need people to be able to send people to the lion's den. They always did. They always did that. But let's go back to Donald Trump. To me, it's very, very confusing. Trying to read this person is real confusing. Because overall, what is his real agenda? What is Donald Trump overall agenda for America? What is Donald Trump overall agenda for black people? Do you think that he wants black Americans all to be locked up, all to be on death penalty, all to be killed? Do y'all think that's his overall agenda? Do you think that he would sign laws into place that's going to make that happen? And this is me really asking a real question. What's the Democratic Party? What's Biden's overall agenda? Confrontation, women right, if you want to kill the kids, kill the kids. To be honest, the spooky thing about it is that when you look at these two individuals, like I'm from New York, and I remember when he said, you're not black if you ain't voting for me. That sounds, and then you take those words, you're not black if you're not voting for me, and then you take Trump's words, and the blacks, you don't have nothing to worry about. And people, when Trump said, in his speech, the blacks, they don't have nothing to worry about. I want to pull that up. You take those two men and you put them side by side, and we analyze those two words, and we want them to break it down. What you meant by that? What do you mean by that? That you're not black if you don't vote for me, and the blacks, you don't have nothing to worry about. I'm gonna bring the word dictatorship. So let's use the word dictator. Which one sounds more like the biggest dictator? The blacks don't have nothing to worry about. How you say? And the blacks, they don't have nothing. You don't have nothing to worry about. Or you're not black if you don't vote for me. Like I say, there's agendas that need to be pushed. And Umar Johnson, I'm trying to figure out how to get you in court so I can get my justice. But if you're a part of an agenda that they need being pushed, and they trying to allow you enough time to get your shit open so that you can fail, so they can do the blame game, it's best that you do go to court with me so we can eliminate that shit. Because the only thing I see with the FDMG is a failure. You gotta understand, I was on the inside, so me being on the inside, once you take away a link in the chain, The bike don't ride. The bike don't move smooth. I was a link in the chain that I believe that if I was still there, the school would be open. And who am I? A link in the chain. But you take the link out the chain, and now the bike is just sitting there. For Umar Johnson to get that going, like I say, they don't need me messing it up. They need the situation. They need him to get this money so he can open the school, so he can really dig a hole for himself, so they can snatch that shit away. They're gonna play the R word. They waiting. It's all sound crazy because it's just crazy. But when you look at this world, like, yo, this world is really built from craziness and chaos and confusion. So you have to be able to comprehend the chaos and confusion to be able to see the reality of things. But in the meantime, it's gonna sound like, what are you reaching for? Trump scares the establishment. To be honest, Umar don't scare the establishment. Because they're not really fearful of the black organizing people no more. Because they know that the black organizing people are so divided that they know that Umar Johnson is not he's not uniting. It's still dividing the people, and he's dividing with a level of hate for the people who have the power. And so at the very end, when they cut the head off of what they think is the head, they're gonna think that they ended the power. But I'm telling you, folks, that we must rise up and have many other heads, because he's not the face of the black community. He's not the face of black consciousness. He's just the face of FDMG. And that's why it's important for us to rise up, meaning that we cannot be following traditional political education. Like, oh, the Republicans is the evil ones and the Democrats for the black people. We have to be able to see, and like I said, create our own party. And we have to invade we have to invade that political system. We have to colonize it. When you look at South Africa and them involving themselves with BRICS, that's because they could not figure a way to get with the black Americans, the African Americans, the Native Americans. They could not figure out how to really get in unison with them, so they had to join the enemies. And the sad thing about it is because I'm around a lot of African people, and because many countries, many continents, many countries do not like America, folks. They don't like. I don't care if they black, brown, white. They don't like America, and so America is America. Whether you black, white, Spanish, whatever you are, Russian, it don't matter who you are. They just don't like Americans, and especially black Americans. And so when I look at South Africa and all these other African countries aligning themselves with countries that don't like America, like I say, folks, as long as we have a high level of division and confusion, and then you have countries that don't like America and just need the black Americans as fucking consumers, they're going to allow certain people to keep dividing, because when they come in and conquer, it's going to be people that look like you and I, but that don't like you and I, that's going to be above you and I in conquering you with the help of them. And Trump actually is a person that stands in the way of a lot of things. But y'all not gonna see it because y'all allow so much hate to come in and not allow yourself to see certain things. When I was young, I had all that hate that came into me, and then I had to realize. I'm gonna say after watching certain movies and realizing that what, sometimes you gotta be like these movies. They tell you things in movies, and like the Matrix, you could not beat Mr. Smith. You had to allow him to join you, and you join him in the system, and you defeat the system itself from the inside. So we as Americans, African Americans, Native Americans, my niggas, better wake up and realize that there's a bigger picture, and when you're untouchable, it's for their cause. They're allowing you to be on a certain level, a certain platform. I was trying to figure out Umar Johnson, like I'm trying to figure out Donald Trump. And Umar Johnson is not really 100% for the black folks like you really think. The way I put it to you, the way I'm looking at it, me going to court with Umar Johnson, he's as much as for black people as Donald Trump is for black people. All right, folks? And that's my take on that. Umar Johnson is for black folks just as much as Donald Trump is for black people. And that's no debate neither. Because I'm going to court with him. He has as much love for black men, his black brothers, as Donald Trump has for black men. And I'm not saying that Trump don't have no love. I'm not saying Umar don't have no love, but they have equal amount of love for black men. Okay. And the love that they have for us is characteristic type love. It's the character that they be in for the time. But the sad thing about it, I think that Trump has a little bit more love than Umar Johnson. Why is that? I think that because Trump dealt with more black men on certain levels than Umar Johnson has dealt with black men. Umar Johnson don't even know how to really associate and deal with black men. I think Umar Johnson believes that he's above all black men. And I don't think Donald Trump believes that he's above all black men. And that's why I believe he's so disappointed with Barack Obama, because I believe that he wanted to give Barack Obama a chance. But folks, for your own eyes, you gotta watch it. You gotta see. Is Umar Johnson above the law? Let's see if I can get him to court. Let's see what they do with my case. If the president can go to court, if the president can sit there and see the judge, I don't see why Umar Johnson can't. President's dealing with money. Umar Johnson dealing with money. President supposedly dished out some money to some people. Oh, I don't even know what I'm saying. I don't even know what I'm saying to the president. That dude, Donald Trump, he dished out some bread. Well, I'm saying it for a reason, because I want y'all to understand the high level. You know what I'm saying? The president. All the time, I was always saying y'all president, but I'm saying the president. Umar is avoiding court because he's not paying money. Pay the cost to be the boss. Umar Johnson, time to pay me my money, man. because this situation is not going. I'm not going nowhere with the situation. Like I say, how many folks think that Trump is going to get locked up? How many people really think that Trump is going to get locked up? And the other question is, how many people want Trump to get locked up? And state your reason. And because I mean, and if your reason that you want Trump to get locked up is because he paid off this woman, I want y'all to really, think about that one. Wonder why I don't want him to get locked up? I don't want him to get locked up because I want to see who power structure have a real fight. Since 2015, since 2016, we've been watching the political party have the biggest fight ever. Okay? Since Barack Obama came in office, politics has been on the side of everyone's mouths, children's mouths, kids' mouths. Politics. And right now, since George Bush, politics has been like sprouting. Since the Iraq War, since Saddam Hussein, Kuwait, politics has been becoming something that's not boring. It's been revealing itself. It's been showing itself. I don't want this to be hushed up right now. Like I say, this is the first time I'm hearing a white president use the R word and using it against black folks. This is very interesting. This is extremely interesting. And I truly believe that it's going to take this situation for us to really wake up and start realizing that, you know what, we can't keep waiting for others to take care of us. We got to really start organizing. I met Letitia James. I'm from Queens, okay? And the little arena that I'm affiliated with, I always get a chance to be around these folks. Always. And so I was at an event and Letitia James was there, and I actually was talking to her about something. I forget what I was talking to her about. We was at the park. We was at Roy Wilkins Park talking. And she, this is when she was fresh on the campaign trail, trying to, become, it wasn't the DA at this time. She was trying to become the public advocate, I believe, one of those positions. And I saw that this is going to be the black woman that they was going to use. She's tall. She's vocal. She has like a little no nonsense look. If you said in the back of your head, bitch, she seems like she could. She seemed like she could be. All right. And so they using this black woman. You gotta understand, man. Like I keep saying, we about to go into a civil war, which is what they need. They want that. Remember, they always need war to boost back the economy. They always need war to get what they want. Okay, period. Whatever it is they want, they always need war. So they need certain instruments and tools to create that atmosphere. And remember, they go by terms. So 4 years is nothing. That's a term. 8 years is, is nothing. That's 2 terms to groom people for their time and their moment to be chosen to push an agenda. And not even knowing that they are moving and serving and pushing an agenda for the overall of slavery, man. Y'all sit back and y'all wait and watch. But most presidents, most people, they say, they try and sugarcoat shit, and they be like, nah, we doing okay. We in negotiation. We talk. This man comes out and say, yo, we about to go into World War. Okay, we about to have World War III real soon. I know. We going to World War III, and then you have everyone else trying to sugarcoat shit like it's not happening. They keep saying, when you keep hearing the people say silence, we want silence, we want silence, we want silence, you gotta say why. Like I said, Umar Johnson is part of an agenda to keep the hate going. Letitia James is part of agenda to get the women to be riled up and to be against a certain thing. And then you have the goofy men that you guys gonna follow. But end results is we help impact the overall elite agenda. Time to wake up, folks. So what say you? What you think on this situation? You think that Don is bugging? Think I'm capping for the orange head man? Like I say, man, human parts is high on the market. Fetuses, embryos, all that shit. Everything counts. Everything's recycled. They recycle everything back into stem cell research. They recycle it back in the system. They don't waste shit except for food. Because food means that people can eat. That's the only thing that we really waste. Food. And black people waste time. I said to this gentleman, I said, you know what? I said to this man, I said the other day, African dude, because he was talking about what this shows is that no man, no person is above the law. I'm like, you sound just like the TV you listening to, meaning that you program. I'm like, this is beyond being above the law. This is about a civil war. They're like, oh, you crazy? They tried to impeach. There's a difference between impeaching and locking up. They tried to impeach Bill Clinton off of Monica Lewinsky. I'm like, that was Bill Clinton. This is Donald Trump. It's a different situation. Big time different situation. Because you got a Republican that's actually really against the economic revolution. It's all about economics, folks. I'm telling you. And it's all about the black market economics. When in history, I don't know, man. I wasn't paying attention to. I mean, when I started, Jimmy Carter, but I was a little kid. But I'm saying, when in history was presidents or candidates for who's running for president saying witch hunt. This is a witch hunt. Using words like witch in the year 2020s. Witch. It's a witch hunt. Like I say, folks, all the knowledge that we have, all the books that we done read, all the movies that we done seen, all the conspiracies that we done heard, do not for 1 second lose your thinking cap. Once you lose your thinking cap, then you have no ability to properly think, and then you just listen to whatever you want, listen to whatever you think it sounds right and sound good, and then that's the way that you be led right back on that ship, right back in that oven, right back on that tree, right back in those chains. Folks, anyone who supports, and I'm gonna be strong on this, I'm gonna end on this. Anyone who supports, if you believe in a higher creator, if you believe in a God, if you believe that there is a God, if you believe that there is a being that created this world, if you believe that there's a being that one day you actually will meet, then know this. Know this. Any person who supports and argues and supports the changing of your sex because you're not satisfied with what you was created to be, that's a sign of a demon. Anyone whose ego is so big that you will send out hundreds of thousands of people to be slaughtered just because you don't want someone to get the upper hand and say that they got the victory. That's what the president of Ukraine said. It would kill him to know that Putin can walk around and say that he won that battle. Anyone who supports unnecessary wars, demon. Anyone who believes that this new age women's rights is above human rights is a demon. It's a demon. Because like I said, there's agendas that's being pushed for the overall outcome, and everything is a dot that would be connected. And female women's rights is a dot on there, is a major dot for them to get back in complete control. All right, folks. I'm gonna leave it like that. I'm not trying to talk too much about this Umar Johnson situation. It's just that I'm like saying myself, like, you can bring Trump to court, but Umar Johnson can keep evading and avoiding court. But what I do want y'all to do, I want y'all to really sit back and think. I want y'all to really, really put your thinking caps back on. I don't want y'all to be so confused with your emotions. I want y'all to really think about this shit. Because I really think that this is a corny timing. I think it's real big time corny timing that he's going. I mean, if he was going to be going to jail or being indicted, it should happen 2 years ago. It should happen 3 years ago. It should happen 4 years ago. for it to be happening right now, it's kind of like it's like staged, and it don't seem real. It's kind of fake. But so many people caught up with the drama world that they would follow the shit. But like I say, there's something bigger that's the cover up, folks. We need to stand up and we need to find out what it really is. Because like I say, when your president is using words like racist, and they talk about the DA and the DA is black and they're using racist, and they talk about the attorney general and the attorney general is black, trust me, folks, it's only going to get worse. And if we're not organized, we're going to suffer. So y'all just take heed to what I'm telling you. I need people to really start with my campaign. I need help with this Umar Johnson situation. There's no reason why he's skating. There's no reason why he's getting away. Like I say, don't think I'm the only person that he avoided paying money to. It's just that these other persons, they a little bit more, lenient to being weak, lenient to like, yo, we need this, we need that, so I'm willing to be a sacrifice and be like, fuck it, I eat it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to hurt his campaign because we need the school, because our community's so trashy that we need anything to really help us and build a certain type of pride. So we need that. No, you need to freaking stand up and be a real man. And that's what we really need. But what I need to do is eat this food. I just, like I said, I wasn't going to do a live today. I wasn't going to do it, but I felt a need to, because I'm just looking, I'm saying to myself, like, wow, they really indicted him. I think he got ankle bracelet on, the way they was following his ass. He's indicted, and I can't even get Umar to go to court for monies that he really truly owes. And so I had to really sit back and be like, yo, what's really good? And I'm like, I think that they need these certain agendas be pushed, and they need to silence those individuals that's here to hurt their agenda. Thank y'all for your listening ear, your support. Peace.